used to think that it would be tilted Democrat, but it seems like now Will Hurt might actually pull off a win if that New York Times poll is correct. I mean, he's outside of the margin of error, which that was plus or minus 5. The New York Times polls, for some reason, have a quite large margin of error. That's the thing that I don't like about their polling. I do like the fact that you could watch it live, which that I think is pretty cool. But for polling
Yeah,
wise,
yeah.
polling
Apparently, they're
wise,
also bringing back that needle of death that traumatized so many people on election night for the midterms, which is a little bit jittery. But yeah,
yeah,
we'll be talking about that. But yeah, I think it's like Lupe Valdez in the Texas governor's race, who
yes,
doesn't have the support of the community at the Democratic base at all. So that should be very rough for her. Down the road, she let ICE detain prisoners or something like that. I think in her district, which is all again a little bit disturbing.
yeah,
But
has a very disturbing past, and her resume is also very shaky.
yeah, so that seems to be a little bit of a worry there for them. And that's another one of those races like in New York, I think, where you kind of want to look for a Green Party option, although it's very unlikely that. At least from what we see now, that there's going to be any chance of a Lupe Valdez governor of Texas ship.
No,
So Green Party
definitely not.
Green Party is looking kind of the better option there.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that kind of takes away everything from really kind of a lot of stuff from the campaign of Beto O'Rourke and Ted Cruz, which is pretty much sucking up all the oxygen, at least in Texas right now. But I mean, I was thinking about this earlier today, and we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier on Newsflash for our Newsflash for the day. The Democrats, they seem to be mostly focused. Democratic Party people, really seem to be focused mostly on campaigning in what they call whole food districts, which are wealthy areas, 20 or so miles away from a real Whole Foods, and it's a pretty high suburban, higher economic status neighborhood. And those areas that are being represented by Republicans, the Democrats are going after them, and they're having great success. But an area where they're more reluctant to do so, at least some more moderate Democrats, are areas that are Trump country, areas that are middle class, working class, stuff they lost in 2016, stuff they're going to try to get back. And the only people that really seem to be doing it is progressive. Do you think that idea of going back to the working class roots of the Democratic Party, is that going to be successful for them or no?
oh, I think that's going to be very successful for them. Honestly, problem I have with going to suburban areas, it's not the people, it's just that it's hard to get them to go out and vote for you, in the sense that a lot of suburbans are registered Republicans. A lot of them typically vote Republican. And I think going out to the working class, which I think would be a much better vote to have than a suburban person who might be moderate but might not actually want to really go out and vote for you. I think going out to the working class would be actually a great idea. They are the lifeblood of the Democrat Party, at least they were. I don't know if they are anymore. And having them go out and vote for you, I think, would absolutely propel Democrats to win, which I think is absolutely an amazing idea to do.
And you get someone like Richard Ojeda. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yes, he's in West Virginia's fourth congressional district. Third.
And he's actually challenging pretty tough. He's definitely winning at some polls.
Oh yes, and even again, this is for a race that they have the Republican who's again pro-Trump, very pro-Trump. She's trying to make her resume seem very pro-Trump to try to get a lot of the Republican votes out, while he is more trying to get the working class people to go out and vote, which is the majority of that district. The majority of the district makes under the poverty line and lives under the poverty line. That district is actually, I believe, the 14th or 15th poorest congressional district in the entire United States.
Wow.
And that is because of all the coal leaving, and this guy coming in and really campaigning for these working families, making them actually have a voice for once instead of just being put on the side. And the Republicans go there and act like, it's like Pennsylvania as well. The lieutenant governor, he's from a town that Trump went to and promised all these jobs. But again, the Republicans are using towns like any town, really the congressional district of West Virginia's third, they're basically using it as a bumper sticker and just going there to make a point that they're going to try to get jobs back, but then they really don't actually help them in the long run. And I think that
Mhm.
having someone like Richard out there campaigning for these working class people is absolutely amazing. He's actually letting them have a voice, having a voice for them, and really listening to what the problems are in that district instead of just going there and saying, some things that they're actually not going to do and then acting like everything is going to be better if you elect any person who's just going to go campaign for his challenger. I forget her name, but he campaigned for his challenger, and just showing the fact that he won that district by a pretty big majority, but a lot of the people in that district don't really have a great approval rating of him. So I think Richard does have a pretty good chance of picking up in that seat, but it's going to be a hard race, and I think that he's just going to keep on having the campaign for the last 4 days of, until election day and try to get people who are working class to come out and vote for him. I think that's the best people to get out and vote for someone or anyone, really.
Yeah, that should be very interesting to see. If they can get that, if that dynamic succeeds, it should be really kind of a benchmark for the Democrats in 2 years, especially
Yes.
when whoever they have running when it comes to campaigning there. That should be very, very interesting. Yeah. And so, is there anything else more we're missing with notable races?
No, the only thing I was just going to say about that race is the majority of the reason why that race is a toss-up is a lot of people in West Virginia, Western Pennsylvania, parts of Ohio, they believe Trump. I mean, look, if I was working class, a coal miner out there who lost his job, I probably would have believed Trump that he was going to get the jobs back because he actually made it seem pretty good. But you know what? They're upset with the tax bill. They're upset that the fact that a lot of more coal mines are actually going out of business. He only got one opening, and then Trump made a huge big deal about that when he didn't even care about that 6 more coal mines that actually closed in the prior weeks. Now, I'm not really for coal, but I'm not for just shutting down coal and letting everyone just not have a job. I believe in a better transition. Now, transitioning them to a different job, that might be hard, but you know what? They know things more than just coal. I mean, a lot of them are engineers nowadays, at least like the younger people who were coal miners following in the footsteps of their either fathers, grandfathers, really whoever was in their family were just going into coal mining because, their neighbor did it. They had engineering experience, so it's not like that they couldn't transition over to another job criteria that was in the energy sector. And I think that's the major reason why a lot of them are being fed up with Trump because he came there, he used it really just as a place where he can just gain votes, which is like any politician. I'm not just, trying to point at Trump.
Yeah.
Every politician really does that, but I'm just giving an example of Trump because that's, I think, really the majority of the reason why that district is a toss-up at the point of time where it is, because looking 2 years ago, people then in 2016, you tell them 2 years later in 2018 that this district's going to be a toss-up, they'll look at you and probably laugh because a lot of the people who went out and voted for Trump.
Yeah, so I think it's a plus 50 district or plus 50 Trump district. It's incredible.
It's a very big plus for the Republican district, which would be actually remarkable.
The fact that
the
Democrats are able or even have a shot really to join the district just shows you that could be the power of the message if they get that back up into.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it would be very, very interesting to see if they can get that. And I mean, if Richard Ojeda wins on election night, you may be on air with us. It's going to be
great.
That'll be very, very happy about that. And of course, Ken and Octay, he's going to be coming on our show soon. And he is also very excited about this too. He's a progressive in my ilk. For those of you who are wondering, you'll definitely get to see him on the show soon. So, yeah, that shout out to Ken, who's probably listening at some point or another. Just quickly here before we go, time to get your predictions. What do you think? House, Senate, how does it all turn out?
I think the House is probably going to go into Democrat control. I was looking at another prediction the other day. I believe that the House is actually going to look like a 30-plus seat majority. For for the Democrats. They have a very good chance of actually getting 33 seats. That is actually the median for their gain if the polls are actually correct for them. Um, and looking even at, polls, looking at prior results, looking at the candidates, looking at their approval ratings. A lot of the candidates as well. That's the other problem, though, with the Democrats that I think they're going to try to need to fix. A lot of them are really unknown in the district that they're running, still to this day. I mean, I was looking in Georgia's 6th district, I believe, where Karen Handel won. She has a former flight attendant running in that district who has, 19% of the voters don't even know who she is. I think that might be ringing an alarm, but that race is, one race out of so many other races that Democrats are widely known. And I think that, I think Democrats definitely will take over the House. Now, in the Senate, that's going to be a real toss-up. I think the Republicans will definitely, most likely, keep control. I think the control power is either going to be 50-50, 51-49, or, I mean, if Nevada really goes for Dean Heller, that might really ring the alarm for 52-48 for the Republicans to have control in the Senate. Now, Nevada is looking really, it's alarming the bell as well for me when I've been looking at polls. It's starting to tilt more to Dean Heller, which is quite alarming to me at this part of the election year where it's like literally like you got like inching room until the election day. And I say like Nevada though, I mean, it's like Florida, it's like Texas, and it's also like Missouri. You really don't know who's going to go out and vote. And also the polls are sometimes not really accurate in states like Nevada. They said that Trump was going to win by 5%, yet Hillary Clinton won by 2% in 2016. So, I mean, the polls, you really never know what could happen in a state like Nevada. I think Dean Heller might win by a very small margin. The two states that I think are going to be picked up by Republicans, definitely North Dakota. North Dakota, I think, is definitely going to easily go to Kevin Cramer. Because even in my last episode, I mentioned people who don't know this. Kevin Cramer is the representative, but in a state like North Dakota, he's the at-large district. There's no three districts. There's one at-large district in that state. And so Kevin Cramer is widely known. He's widely popular in that state. And, it's exactly like a senator. So it's not like, some people know him, some people don't. He's literally running for a seat that he basically sort of has already against a widely unpopular incumbent, Heidi Heitkamp, who, I think that she's going to have a really, really tough race. I mean, even looking at polls back to March of this year, she was losing already. So, I mean, she ended up about from the second that he announced that he was running, I think, in my opinion. Also, the other state where the incumbent's going to have a big problem is Missouri. Claire McCaskill, I did find a transcript of her saying people are complaining that she's been using a private jet. And, her husband owns a private jet, and she got upset when people were saying, oh, you say you're working for the working class, yet, but you fly in a private jet, that's $3 million. And she got all upset, and she says, then we should just, she was talking to actually a campaign official at an event, and she was saying about how that we should just tell all them that normal people can afford a private plane. I don't really think so. I mean, a $3 million private plane, yeah. The average house income in America is not even above $60,000. I think that that's what we should really be talking about instead of her complaining about how people are making fun of her plane. I mean,
so bad.
And even Josh Hawley, though, I mean, he's pretty shady as well. I mean, he had a lot of issues while in the Attorney General. He really was against government-run health insurance. I mean, he went to the point of actually trying to sue the government against Obamacare with 5 other states.
And says he still supports pre-existing conditions.
Yeah, and he doesn't. I mean, he does. There's literally, it's like lying to the facts. I mean, it's like looking at the wall with your quote and saying that's not mine, yet it says that you said it, and there's a video of you saying it.
He's
literally
Orwellian.
On fire.
It's Orwellian. He's
literally walking on his own flames. I mean, the other race as well to watch for really turnout is Florida as well. Turnout was really going to be a problem. If a lot of people don't go out and vote in Florida, that's definitely an easy win for Rick Scott. I highly doubt that, though. I think Bill Nelson's actually going to win, and you know why I'm going to say that? I think because Gillum